So welcome to a Steve Dog review of football games, soccer games for the PS4. These are also available on other consoles such as Switch and Xbox One and Steam in many instances. Which is the best compared to FIFA or PES? I've got half a dozen games here, a real breadth of games, and they're good value, a lot of these, and there's plenty of choice out there now on the PS4. So let's kick off with Active Soccer 2DX on the PS4. You will be able to see all my reviews. Click above, there'll be a playlist which has got all these reviews on there. This game is very much like sensible soccer. Graphics are quite good. It takes you a little while to get back into the passing mechanics because it's not as helpful, shall we say, as FIFA and Pro Evolution. There's plenty of game modes on here. You can customize all sorts of things, and there's plenty of there's career modes. You can have custom leagues, loads of retro teams, multiplayer. There's a lot of content on this game. So in a quick summarization, because I'm not going to hang around on this, I give this a 7 out of 10. Game modes are pretty good, graphics are pretty good, it's pretty good fun. Why not higher? I mean, we demand a lot from our games nowadays, but I would say, all in all, good quality game. 7 out of 10 is a good score. So, next up, Legendary 11. Now, Legendary 11 has adopted a retro feel to it, so it's like 1970s style graphics. The options aren't quite as extensive on this. You've got cut modes, but the graphics themselves are quite good, a little bit clunky, and they take a little bit of getting used to, and there's a super shot function. You've got tournaments in here which are different World Cup tournaments and things like that, and you can win stickers by defeating all these different challenges. So there's a fair bit of longevity, although the customization part of the game isn't very good at all, and they could have added a little bit more content. You can apparently play online, although I've never managed to find anyone online. But this game, I've stuck with it. I quite like it. It's got a different feel about it. It is a good game. It does glitch on occasion, but you know, it's not really to the detriment of the game. There's certainly a way to learn how to play this game, and I've enjoyed this. You know, is it better than Active Soccer? I'm going to mark it the same. I'll go through the score in a sec, but I'll mark it the same. I'd probably slightly prefer this at the moment, but then I'll be back at Active Soccer again. So what I'd give this score: game mode's not quite as good. Longevity, there seems to be a challenge in this game, and it is pretty good fun. Whether or not it's better than Active Soccer, who's to say? So I'm giving this another solid 7 out of 10. Next up, Galasso. What on earth is Galasso? Well, it's a real arcadey sort of option. I think it's 6 aside. I think it's 6 on there. When you pick this up, you'll feel that it's got a fair bit of quality about it, and it's very easy to play. It all just seems to feel quite good and arcadey. They've got a mechanic in there where you get power-ups through the game automatically. You can't substitute players on and off. That's a little bit disappointing, and you're limited in your game modes. Unfortunately, you cannot save league mode midway through, so you switch off and switch back on. You've got to start it again. So where it would have a little bit more longevity, it hasn't, because it doesn't allow these modes to be saved, and there's no customization. You're very, very limited on what you can do. I think it's League Cup, and that's your lot. You can't even choose the sides of the league. But that being said, in a 2-player game offline, it's a bit of a good crack. It's a good bit of fun. So how does this stack up, Steve Dog? Right, I would say all in all 6 out of 10. It's not quite as good as the other games because of the game mode and the longevity suffers. But if you want a quick kick around, it does play very well. It is a pretty good quality game. It's good fun. So on that basis, not quite as good as the previous two, I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. Dino Dini's Soccer Kickoff Revival. Now, this was I really wanted this game to come out. It's the first one pretty much that came out on the PS4 other than FIFA and Pro Evo. But despite all my good feelings and thoughts about these games from previous years on previous consoles, the mechanic of the game is flawed. The options aren't enough, and there's several glitches in the game. But Mostly the game mechanic is all one button control, but because there's so many things steeped on that one button, it is almost uncontrollable and results in a very kick and rush sort of game. Now there are people online that have mastered this, but Dino had to put out flowcharts to explain how to get the best out of the controls rather than putting the controls right. That is really frustrating about this game and makes it very hard to persevere with. It needed improving and it never did. So what do I give it? Fun and quality is a 2 out of 10, and although there's a European Cup mode to give you a little bit of options and you can customize it a little bit of longevity, multiplayer you can play online, it just isn't good enough. The quality is not there, so therefore it's got to be only a score of 2 out of 10. Ganbare. What a ridiculous name this is. I always forget what the game's called. It's a turn-based game. Now I got this good value actually. I got it as a double deal on Vita and PS4 as a combined purchase, and it's quite good. It's relatively satisfying to play, but the games do take a little while. I'm not sure you're ever going to play this multiplayer, and there is another game called Football Glory and Tactics, I think, which I haven't reviewed, which looks better as a full 11-a-side version of this. But it's not a bad game. It's certainly got a lot of quality about it. I think it originated from Steam, so it's in here because it's something different, and on that basis it is totally different really from most other things you'll play. I can't really score it down too much, so what do I give this one? I give it a 6 all in all. I think the game modes are a little bit limited. You've got you can enter leagues and a sort of career mode, and the multiplayer and the fun aspect is a little bit hard work. It's not as natural to pick up as the others, but it's still got a bit of quality, so 6 out of 10. Finally, the new kid on the block, Super Soccer Blast. I think one of the biggest problems with the game is the name because it's so forgettable. I keep forgetting what this game's called. You start this in multiplayer, offline. There's no online mode, but it is an absolute joy. It's really fun. There's some extensive customization options. You can create your own team. You can create your own player. As you can see here, it'll do a lot of this for you as well. So it created that guy for me. You just press a button, it'll create them. You can drop them into your teams. There's no stats of players. I know in-game options are very limited. No formations, no substitutions, no actual attributes as far as we can see for each of the players. But when you actually get into the game and start playing it, it is absolute scream. And some of the goals that are scored are ridiculous, but it's the same for each team. It seems really fun to play. And I think just the fun factor and the fact you can create your own teams and you've got plenty of option modes, you can customize tournaments, and that mean that this is good any way up. And the controls are very familiar if you're used to playing games like FIFA and Pro Evolution. It's a bit of a blast. It's a bit of a laugh. So there you go. I would give this one, again, graphics and quality and fun are what really brings this game up. So it's got a fair decent game modes. The graphics are better than they're seen on this video. On all of these games, they're better than we've seen on this video. But fun, quality, it's an 8 out of 10 game. So there you have it, folks. Active Soccer and Legendary 11 are tied. Dino Dini's is really struggling, not a very good game at all. Galasso and Ganbare are there for a bit of fun. They might be worth checking out. I'll probably go for Active or Legendary first. But if you want to just pick one out of these games, at the moment I would probably go for Super Soccer Blast, which I always forget the name of, closely followed by perhaps a Legendary 11 and then Active Soccer 2 DX. That concludes my review.